How to Train Your Useless Dragon by Mika Crispy on AO3. Chapter 5. How to Befriend a Human. Izuku woke up very early in the cozy cabin he shares with his mother. The morning rays haven't even touched the entrance, and the whole place was very dark. That is just when he wanted to wake up, because he needs to sneak out before his mother can drill him about where he is going. So he gets up as slowly and as quietly as he can, walking on the tip of his paws as softly as he can. Izuku loves his mother dearly, but she is very overprotective, since he can't control his quirk and his teeth. She always treats him like a fledgling instead of an almost adult that he is. Actually, that is a general problem in Izuku's life. Everyone treats him like a child and doesn't take him serious. He knows his friends and family love him, but they have to let him grow up and be the dragon he wants to be. And Izuku doesn't want to be smothered living in the same cave and doing the same things when there is a whole world of things to discover. That is why, right now, he is sneaking out of the Dragon Island to fly to Turtle Island, where he will meet up again with the human. That will help him control his teeth. Just a few meters from the entrance, Izuku steps in some of the several seashells he and his mother collect for decoration. The little crackling sounds send Izuku into a panic. His tail waves blindly, knocking a couple of rocks around. Izuku freezes in panic, thinking his mother will wake up, but she just grumbles in her sleep, deep inside the cave, and Izuku makes a quick exit. The entrance of Izuku's cave stands almost on the bottom of the huge dormant volcano that most dragons call home. The volcano's outside and inside is covered with caves where dragon families live, and it stands on the middle of the biggest island of the dragon's archipelago. Usually over 100 dragons could be seen flying around the island, coming and going from nests. But at this ungodly hour of the morning, the sky is empty, even though Izuku will have to walk to the border of the island before taking flight to make sure no one sees him flying above the trees. Anyways, the human, Kachan, is so funny and a little bit scary. But Izuku trusts he has a good heart. He is always threatening to kill Izuku and calls him useless, but the human didn't think twice before offering to help the dragon. Sure, they haven't made a lot of progress last time, but it was just the first day. Izuku had been trying to control his teeth since he began walking. It would obviously take more than a day training with Kachan to get it right. Izuku is glad he met the human, since all he knew about humans were from second-hand reports from his friends that were allowed to hunt in the human islands. And his friends didn't paint a nice picture of humans, always saying they were stupid and mean, that humans only fight and yell the whole day. Sure, Kachan fights a lot and says mean things, but he's not that bad. He is also very intelligent and very curious, and he can be kind, even if he pretends he can't. Human food is very interesting too. It's amazing how resourceful and creative they are to overcome being such weak and delicate creatures. Izuku knows that if anyone finds out where he is going, they're going to lock him up in a cave and never let him leave again. So he needs to be very careful. Good morning, Izuku. Izuku halts in panic as he hears inside his head the thought of his friend, Tenya, just as he is getting to the beach. Dragons communicate through telepathy when they're in their natural form. They use the same language as humans, but they don't have to physically say the words, and it's why Izuku has such a hard time with pronunciation. Good morning, Tenya, Izuku says, trying not to sound so guilty inside his own head. Tenya is one of his best friends. They are about the same age and grew up together on the Dragon Island. Tenya is very imposed dragon, almost twice Izuku's height, and with a traditional body type, big wings, small head, strong legs. Very different from Izuku's, whose head still looks too big for his body and wings are too small. His friend's scales are navy blue, except around the eyes, where he has white scales circulating them. Are you going for a morning flight? That is very commendable. I'm going for a run myself. It is important to keep fit for one's duties. Tenya's strong voice resonates in Izuku's head. He hates lying to his friends, so he makes the half-truth that should please him. I'm gonna fly to another small island to train my teeth. Please, Tenya, don't tell my mom. Izuku pleads to his friend. Izuku, that is absurd. What do you think you are doing? Izuku winces as Tenya scolds him, thinking he will certainly tell his mother. You know very well that the side of the beach is not appropriate for take off. The sand is too loose. You may hurt yourself. Oh, Izuku forgot about that. They were supposed to take flight on land, only on stable ground or something like that. But I suppose you do need to learn to control your teeth, Tenya says in deep thought. All right, but please take off in an appropriate terrain and be back before nightfall. If you get hungry, find me and Ochako for food. We will be fishing today and we will reserve some for you. Thank you so much, Tenya, Izuku says with a big, toothless smile to his friend, then turns to take flight towards Turtle Island and the right side of the sand. Take care. Don't do anything reckless, Izuku. He hears his friends plead just as he lifts off the beach. Izuku got to Turtle Island before Kachan this time. At least the feisty human won't be able to scream at him because of that, though certainly Kachan will find other reasons. Izuku really likes Kachan. He's very funny and is always a thrill to try to find out what he really means. Do all humans have the habit of saying things and meaning something else? Because Kachan never says what he is thinking, so different from his dragon friends, the literal communication by thought. With Kachan, it's always chaotic. The boy might say, if you don't show up, I'll kill you. But Izuku knows he means, I really wanted you to come. This time, Kachan said, your only utility is to teach me about dragon shit. Izuku is sure the blonde really meant, I think you are really interesting and not useful at all. Deep down, Kachan is very kind and warm. Maybe it's just a human thing to pretend that they aren't like that. Maybe all humans are like Kachan, just hiding their true feelings. Izuku shifts into his human form to wait for the Viking. Izuku is very good with his transformation. He can keep human form longer than anyone else he knows, since he's trained it so much. It may sound weird that the one of the only dragons that isn't allowed anywhere near the humans is the one that's mastered the shift the most. But that is because Izuku really didn't have much else to do besides training it. When he and his friends entered the age to train for hunting and protecting the flock, it was already clear for everyone that Izuku would not amount much of anything. His body was weirdly proportioned, making him look like a peculiar youngling to other dragons. He had the rare, retractable teeth, but they were no good if Izuku couldn't control them. And his quirk was the biggest blow of all. He had the same quirk as All Might, the strongest dragon in the whole archipelago, but he couldn't control it, and it usually went haywire in the most moments. There was a time he was flying, his quirk quickened in, and he flew so fast he couldn't stop. He only came to a halt when he went face first against the volcano. Trying to use his quirk in hunting and fishing made Izuku come back with more bruised and broken bones than prey. It came to a point where his mother actually said maybe it was better for Izuku to pretend he didn't have a quirk and just keep his power inside him so he wouldn't get hurt again. It's really disheartening having such a powerful quirk, but being too dumb and weak to wield it properly. But Kachan promised to help him with that too. He doesn't know how the human will do it, since Kachan barely understands how dragon magic works, but Izuku believes the little human can do it. Kachan seems to be very smart, and he's a warrior. Surely he'll understand a lot about hunting and fighting. Izuku hopes Kachan will not take long to arrive. He really wants to get good progress with his teeth come today. Just as Izuku thinks about it, he sees Kachan's tiny boat, sailing, getting closer to the island. The human seems to be struggling with the current from the movements of his boat. Should Izuku go help him? Or is Kachan going to scream at him? Maybe Kachan will scream, but at the same time want help? Humans are so confusing. Before Izuku can make up his mind, Katsuki's already past the current and is jumping out to pull his boat to the sand. Izuku jogged towards him with a huge smile on his face. Hi, Kachan. Did your mom kill you with nagging again? No, she didn't. This time it was a stupid sidekick that trails around me in the village that got in my way. I had to make sure he wasn't following me before I came. The blonde grunts, dropping the rope of his boat and walking towards the palm trees. What is a sidekick? Izuku asked curiously. Really, humans come up with the craziest of things. Izuku chuckles to himself, thinking about the time Kachan said they think they own sheep. A sidekick is a warrior that is not as good as the leader, the hero, so they just stand around and help the strongest warrior, in this case, me. Bakugou says cockily, pointing to himself with a wild smile. A warrior that fights by your side. Like a friend? Why do humans come up with so many words that mean the same thing? Oh, he wishes I called him my friend. He's just an ugly-haired pest that I can't seem to shake off. Kachan says, pulling a water pouch and drinking. Still sounds like a friend. Sometimes I have to shake off my friends too. Izuku says, thinking about Tenya's demand that Izuku didn't sneak off to a forbidden meeting with a dangerous human that tried to kill him by taking flight in the wrong kind of terrain. You shake off your friends? Ain't you too sweet and well-mannered for that shit? Katsuki teases. Well, I'm here meeting a human, aren't I? Izuku replies snarkily. Alright, good. Because I found out how to control your teeth, and you're going to need all that shitty attitude you're claiming to have. Really? Izuku gives the human a huge smile, and crowds his personal space. Did you really? How? What did you find out? What do I have to do? Izuku pushes the dragon away by the shoulders. Don't fucking jump on me, idiot. And yeah, of course I found out. Told you I'm the fucking best. Now sit down so I can explain it to you. Izuku sits back down on the sand and looks expectantly at Katsuki. The answer is aggression. Fighting and hunting should bring forth aggression. And that is what you should have to make your teeth come out. If you can't make yourself feel angry, you will not be able to make your teeth come out when you want it. That makes sense. It's basically the opposite of what Izuku always thought he should do. He thought he needed to concentrate to control his teeth, and in order to keep concentrating, he couldn't allow his feelings to cloud his thoughts. But Katsuki had a point. His teeth should come out naturally during hunting and fighting, and those are instances where dragons would naturally feel more aggressive. Kachan is really smart. But how will I make myself more aggressive? That should be easy. I'm the fucking king of aggression. Just follow my lead, shitty Deku. Bakugou says with a half smirk. Izuku shifts back into a dragon and sits on the sand, waiting for Kachan's instructions. Alright, idiot. You need to channel your inner aggression. I know you got it. It's just small and useless, but we need to bring it forth, okay? Izuku nods, even though he has no idea how he will find his inner aggression, and he isn't feeling any hostile whatsoever. Let's try snarling, the way to express aggression. Maybe it could be used to provoke it as well. Do it like me. Kachan makes an ugly face, pulling his upper lip up and showing his pitiful fangs. Really, with such tiny teeth, Izuku doesn't know how Kachan has the gall to call him useless for being toothless. The human might as well be too. Even though Izuku tries mimicking the same grimace and copying the snarling sound, Bakugou, however, laughs loudly, bending over his belly until small tears come out of his eyes. That was the stupidest thing I've ever saw. You idiotic, toothless dragon snarling just... It looks like you have something stuck in your gums. By God, you look stupid. Katsuki says, still laughing. Izuku is sure he is pouting now. Kachan could be a little more understanding. This is hard enough without making fun of Izuku. Izuku shows his tongue at him for good measure. He knows human understands that symbolism because Mina's the one who taught him, and she saw from a few fishermen. You put that tongue away before I cut it out, cheeky bastard. Finally, Bakugo stops laughing. Let's try again. Try thinking about a sheep that is about to get away and making fun of you for not being able to catch it. That sounds stupid. Why would a sheep make fun of him? How would a sheep make fun of him? As far as he knows, sheep couldn't communicate telepathically. Focus, Deku. We're losing daylight. Try again. Izuku closes his eyes to focus on his inner anger and tries again. He can feel the snarl sound coming from his throat, but doesn't feel the snapping of his teeth coming out, so he knows it didn't work again. Well, I guess there's no helping it. You are truly worthless. I give up. You're too stupid to teach. Even I can't make you learn anything. Kachan says, seriously. Did he mean it? Or is Kachan saying one of those things and meaning another, as he does sometimes? Maybe he really means it. Izuku truly is useless, and will never learn to use his teeth. The only thing more stupid and useless than you are the other dragons. God, you are a bunch of morons, aren't you? Why is Kachan bringing his friends into this? They never talked about Izuku's friends like that. Dragons are the lowest of creatures. They have all this fucking magic, but they can barely use it. If no one taught you how to use your magic and your teeth, it means your whole flock is made out of morons. This shit is too good to know, because now I know there's no risk in taking every ship we own and invading the Dragon Archipelago to kill every last one of you motherfuckers. The world would certainly be a better place once we get rid of every last shitty dragon that... Izuku doesn't feel himself move, and when he notices it, he is standing on top of Kachan's chest, pinning him on the sand, and snarling at him with a mouthful of pointy teeth. He is so angry. How can Kachan say something like that? After all they've been through? Kachan knows dragons are not mindless beasts. He knows it. Izuku's friends are great and powerful dragons. It's not their fault Izuku is so useless. And they're such good friends. They always take care of Izuku, making sure he's well fed and protected since Izuku can't hunt and fight for himself. Kachan has no idea what he's talking about. And to think that Izuku even thought he and Kachan could be friends. There it is, Kachan says, smiling at the furious dragon. Finally showing some aggression. I knew you had a bleeding heart. You may not show your teeth to defend yourself, but you will defend your friends. Izuku gets off Kachan's chest and sits confused on the sand. Did Kachan provoke him? Just to show Izuku had aggression in him. And it worked. Izuku filled his teeth with his tongue. They are all still there. Now, remember this feeling. The feeling of being angry. We need that shit. You need to be able to find your inner anger when you need your teeth to come out. He was. Kachan was trying to help him. And Izuku snapped at him. He could have hurt the human. Their kind is so fragile. Izuku jumps back towards Katsuki and nuzzles in his chest and neck, asking for forgiveness. Get off! It's fucking alright. Got it? I know you didn't mean it, idiot. And I wasn't fucking scared. You're too much of a wimp to scare me. See? Your teeth are already back in. We need to train more, so fucking focus, okay? It's going to be hard to focus on being angry and aggressive when he is feeling such a bubbly feeling in his chest from Kachan's efforts in helping him. But Izuku will try his best since he can't let Kachan's hard work be for nothing. Then he tries a few more times during the morning, both in dragon form and in human form. Having their bellies growing in hunger, the sun is high in the sky, so they retreat to the tree lines, where the beach becomes a forest. Izuku shifts back into his human form so they could talk more freely. I brought mice pies. They're fucking great, you're gonna fucking love them. Katsuki says, taking 2 weird-looking bread loaves from his satchel. Izuku looks skeptically at the mice pie that Kachan gives him. They smell funny. It's a combination of strong smells that Izuku has never felt before. He takes a tiny bite, and the flaky pastry melts deliciously in his mouth. Humans do know how to feed themselves. This is great. Feeling confident, Izuku takes a huge chunk of the pie and discovers there is some kind of filling inside this delicious pastry. He begins chewing happily at the mixture of pastry and filling until he feels like 100 tiny flavor bombs are exploded in his mouth at once. It's good, but it burns and it hurts his tongue. How can something taste so good and hurt at the same time? What are humans doing with their foods? A few more bites and the flavor explosion becomes too much. Tears roll down Izuku's eyes, and he reaches blindly for Katsuki's water pouch. What? Can't handle a little heat? You're such a shitty baby, Deku. Katsuki says, laughing at Izuku's predicament. What is it? Izuku says, with his tongue halfway out his mouth. How can flavor hurt? What did you do with this food, Kachan? It's just some pepper, Deku. Don't be a wimp. These pies are fucking great. Katsuki says, with his mouth full of the weird food. He seems to be enjoying himself. Do humans' tongues work differently than dragons? I think I prefer the bread. Izuku puts the rest of the pie back into Kachan's shackle. He may try hunting later. He needs to put his teeth to the test anyways. We have hundreds of foods besides bread. I can't bring most of them in my bag or else it'll spill, but we have some great stews and things like that. Bakugou says, matter-of-factly, while he finishes his pie and finishes Izuku's portion to himself. I wish I could taste them. Dragons eat everything raw. I never tried cooked food before I met you, Izuku says, kicking the sand a little. There are so many things he's never seen, never tried. He loves that Kachan is trying to show a little of his world to Izuku in exchange of Izuku teaching Kachan about dragons' lives. That sounds boring. There are several other flavors you can give food by cooking it with spices. Always eating it raw sounds like it would get old pretty quickly. Well, we try changing it up a bit. Sometimes we hunt bigger animals, like sharks or whales. And there's this weird bluefish that only appears on the summer that tastes very unique. And when we get tired of fish, we can always go for sheep, Izuku finished saying, with a small teasing smile to Kachan. That is why you have so many fucking Vikings trying to kill you. Just learn how to cook fish with some herbs and leave our fucking sheep alone. Izuku laughs openly at the humans' antics. Do the sheep even know you are supposed to be their owners? Surely they know. If they don't, I'll personally knock some sense into them, Katsuki says, pretending there isn't a small smile trying to break into his serious face. Izuku laughs louder until Katsuki gets stuck of his provocations and grabs the boy in a chokehold until Izuku learns how to tap out of a fight. When Izuku lands back on the Dragon Island, the sun is already hiding on the horizon. He and Kachan made good progress with his teeth today. Izuku is brimming with excitement. By the end of the afternoon, he managed to use his teeth to grab a small fish in a small stream in the middle of Turtle Island. It feels great to have a belly full of food he hunted by himself. No need to bother his friends to help him out. No, sir. Izuku will become an independent dragon soon enough. Even Kachan had praised him. He said, finally, you're becoming something worthy enough to kill, fucking Deku. Which, in Kachan speak, translate to, I'm proud of your development, Izuku. Keep up the good work. Or at least, Izuku hopes it does. Izuku, there you are. I've been looking for you everywhere. Izuku hears the voice of his best friend inside his head. Ochako. Ochako is a very beautiful dragon. Her hide is sleeked in light pink and silver. She is on the smaller side, the same size as Izuku, but is perfectly proportioned with big silver wings and a tiny dainty head. Hi, Ochako. I was flying around exploring small islands, Izuku says, trying to keep the guilty tone out of his head. He really hates lying to his friends. Ochako shakes her head and falls into place by Izuku's side, while they walk towards the center of the island. You shouldn't be going out on your own, It's too dangerous. What if a human boat sees you? You know humans haven't come inside our territory for years. I'll be fine. Don't need to worry. I always worry, Izuku. You're my best friend, and I miss you. You've been vanishing so often, I feel like we barely have time to fly together or talk anymore. Ochako says, pouting, and Izuku knows he can't say no to her now. We can go out together tomorrow. I promise I'll be around the island. Izuku says quickly, before she asks more questions on why Izuku has been vanishing all the time. You better. I had to spend time the whole day with Tenya today, and even though he is the dear friend, and I love him, if I hear one more word about the Elder's official recommendations for hunting fish or small statues, I will make him fly to the moon, I swear. Izuku laughs, openly imagining Tenya's antics during their hunting expedition. It can't be that bad. Tenya is a little strict, but he's a good hunter. A good hunter, but an annoying flymate. Maybe if we can make sure no human boat has been spotted, you could come hunting with us next time? Ochako says, and Izuku can feel the smile in her reflection. But it just dampers his mood a little. It's sad that even his best friend can't trust him to take care of himself. It's not like he's ever gotten in trouble with human fishermen. I mean, Kachan attacked him and he couldn't defend himself, but that doesn't count since Kachan is the best warrior of his village, right? He says it a lot, and now Izuku and Kachan are friends, so all of it is, well, it ended well. There is no reason for Ochako to be so overprotective of me. None of at all. Izuku thinks, just as he pauses, gets stuck in the root, and he is falling face flat into the ground when Ochako uses her power to make him levitate. Maybe we can take you fishing in islands, land, and streams, and other villages, sweetie. Ochako says kindly. Yeah, I can't believe I completely forgot. Like, not forgot, but completely looked over the fact that yeah, Izuku and Katsuki are both presenting signs of having crushes on each other. It's something that I didn't pick up on the first time reading, but the second time reading I'm picking up on it. Also, Kachan translator, I love that. I love that so much. I love it. This is also a fanfic where Izuku is quote-unquote infantilized. I guess that's the best way to say it. Like, people look down on him in the sense of, oh, let me do this for you, let me do that for you. The kind of the overbearing kind of thing, which, yeah, it could be annoying. I understand that point. It could just be a big, ugh. It could be like, you know? Yeah, it's just an annoying thing. So far it's a good, what's it called? Good story and whatever. I've already read it. I want to know what you guys think about this chapter. What do you guys think about dragon culture, I guess? You get to learn more about dragon culture. There's more dragon culture that we don't know. Also, I love, you know, the whole spicy pie. I've actually never had any pie that isn't pumpkin pie or apple pie, so I don't know anything about meat pies. And I'm actually kind of scared to try meat pies because it sounds disgusting in my head. A pastry with meat. Yeah, no thank you. So far I've only, like, gotten pumpkin pie and apple pie. Those are my two pies I've ever tried, and I don't think I'll ever try meat pie. Unless it's, you know, of course, accompanied by a very, very handsome person, then yeah, let me have that meat pie, please and thank you. That sounded very, very sexual. Okay, I'm asexual. I would like to say that. I meant, like, if, like, a really cute person that I find really cute, that's, like, a friend of mine, and I have a crush, and they're like, oh, look, I made a meat pie. Do you want to try it? Yeah, I'll try it. Try it. Even though everything in my mind is screaming me to say no. You're my crush, and I want to try it. Because that's just how I am. I didn't mean for it to sound so sexual and dirty and wrong. Dude, I always do this. It's a curse. It's a curse. It's a curse. But, as always, my rain drops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.